The studio lights dim slightly as Dr. Phil steps forward, his calm presence commanding attention. Today, he tells the audience, a family will face a secret that has quietly divided 3 generations. A fortune, hidden for decades, has created tension, mistrust, and confusion among loved ones, and it's finally coming to light. The family walks onto the stage, each member visibly tense. There's the grandfather, stoic yet wary, who seems to carry decades of unspoken stories. The middle generation, parents in their 40s, look torn between loyalty to their elders and their own sense of justice. And finally, the youngest siblings, wide-eyed and curious, unsure why something as important as their family fortune has been kept from them. Dr. Phil greets them with his signature warmth, shaking hands and offering reassuring words. Today, he begins, we're going to uncover the truth behind a hidden fortune that's been shaping your family for years. And my hope is that, by the end of this conversation, you'll see each other more clearly and fairly. The cameras zoom in on the audience. Their faces reflect anticipation, curiosity, and concern. You can almost feel the weight of decades of secrecy pressing down on the family. No one speaks at first. The tension is palpable. Then, slowly, Dr. Phil begins asking the first question. How did you first hear about this fortune? The grandfather clears his throat, hesitating. The parents exchange glances. The youngest siblings fidget in their seats. Each answer reveals fragments of confusion, resentment, and misunderstanding, clues to a story that has been buried under years of assumptions. The audience leans forward as Dr. Phil probes gently but firmly. Some secrets, he says, don't just hide money. They hide emotions, trust, and sometimes even love. Today, we're going to explore all of it. And here's the hook that keeps everyone on the edge of their seat. The family doesn't yet realize just how deep this dispute goes, or how much it has influenced their relationships. The cameras capture every glance, every sigh, every subtle reaction. And as the first layer of the secret begins to emerge, you'll understand why this story isn't just about money. It's about family, legacy, and the truths we sometimes keep from those we love the most. Have you ever had a family secret revealed? Comment below. Where are you watching this from? As the cameras pan across the studio, Dr. Phil leans forward, his eyes fixed on the family. Now that we've set the stage, he begins, let's talk about the fortune. Who first learned about it? And how did it impact you? The grandfather shifts in his chair, fingers tapping nervously. I only heard rumors when I was young, he says quietly. His voice is heavy with the weight of decades of silence. No one ever spoke about it openly. I thought it was just a family tale. The middle generation parents exchange uneasy glances. The mother fidgets, twisting her wedding ring around her finger. We grew up hearing whispers, too, she admits. But it was confusing. Every time we asked, we were told it wasn't our concern. That it wasn't meant for us yet. The father, stern but visibly conflicted, adds. And when we tried to ask the grandfather for clarity, he'd dismiss it. It caused tension between us. My siblings and I, we started arguing about who was entitled to what, even though we didn't even know what was real. Dr. Phil listens attentively, nodding. So the secrecy itself created conflict, he observes. Even before the fortune was revealed, the family was already divided. The youngest siblings, barely in their 20s, look confused. One of them finally speaks up. I didn't know any of this until recently, she says. I mean, we were always told to focus on school, work, and life. But now, hearing about what's been hidden, it feels like our family has been keeping secrets from us for years. Dr. Phil pauses, allowing the words to sink in. Secrets have a way of shaping our relationships, he says gently. They can build walls between people who love each other, sometimes unintentionally, sometimes out of fear. But today, we're going to break down those walls. He then turns to the parents. What do you think caused the conflict to persist for so long? The father sighs. Pride mostly. Fear maybe. And old grudges. Every generation added its own layer, and no one wanted to admit mistakes. The mother nods. Exactly. And it became a pattern. Each generation treated the next with suspicion, without realizing the damage being done. The studio audience murmurs in agreement. Some nod, others exchange empathetic glances. It's clear this isn't just a story about money. It's a story about trust, communication, and the invisible threads that connect or separate family members. Dr. Phil leans forward, addressing the viewers directly. And for you watching from home, have you ever seen a family dispute that went on for years, fueled by secrets and misunderstandings? Comment below, which country or city are you watching from? Share your experience. Back on stage, the tension grows as Dr. Phil digs deeper. He asks about specific incidents where misunderstandings over the fortune led to real arguments. A heated moment surfaces. One sibling recalls a fight over inheritance assumptions. Another talks about feeling betrayed by the elders. The grandfather looks down, his eyes moist, acknowledging that his silence caused pain he never intended. The conversation exposes not just financial disputes, but emotional ones, resentment, hurt, and the desire to be acknowledged and included. Each story builds on the last, weaving a complex web that has entangled 3 generations. By the end of part 2, the audience, and viewers at home, can feel the weight of the conflict. Dr. Phil sums it up. The hidden fortune didn't just create money disputes. It revealed how much fear, pride, and silence can shape a family over decades. But now, for the first time, you have the chance to confront it, and maybe, just maybe, begin to heal. If you've ever been caught in a family dispute, comment below and tell us where you're watching from. City, country, let us know your story. The atmosphere in the studio is tense. The cameras sweep across the family, capturing furrowed brows, crossed arms, and quiet whispers. Dr. Phil sits forward, his expression calm but probing. Now that we've uncovered the history of this fortune and how secrecy shaped your relationships, let's talk about what happens next, he begins. The grandfather, normally composed, seems unsettled. He admits, I never imagined it would cause so much pain. My intention was to protect the family. I thought keeping it secret was the best way. His voice trembles slightly, and the youngest sibling shifts in their seat, visibly frustrated. The father leans forward, speaking with a mix of anger and disappointment. Protect the family? Grandpa, your silence created resentment. Every misunderstanding, every argument, could have been avoided if you had just been honest. The mother chimes in, her voice shaking. We've spent years in conflict because we didn't know the truth. And now, finally, the truth is coming out, and it's shocking how deep this goes. Dr. Phil nods, giving each family member space to speak. He then asks a question that sparks even more tension. How did the dispute affect your relationships with each other? Did you ever stop trusting one another? The father hesitates, then admits, yes. I found myself questioning my siblings' motives. I thought they were trying to get more than their share, even though we didn't know what the shares were. It caused fights, cold shoulders, and even years of silence. The youngest sibling's frustration rises. And we're supposed to just accept that? They say, voice cracking. We were left in the dark while others made decisions that affected all of us. A hush falls over the audience. You can feel the tension tightening like a rope around the family. Dr. Phil leans in, his voice steady but commanding. Families aren't perfect, he says. But silence and secrets can make even the closest families feel like strangers. Today, we're confronting that, but only if everyone is willing to speak honestly and listen. The grandfather bows his head, taking a deep breath. I see now that my silence caused harm. I was wrong to assume it was best for everyone. The mother wipes a tear from her eye. It's painful, but maybe this is finally our chance to fix it. Dr. Phil turns to the audience. And for those watching at home, think about this. If you were in this family's shoes, what would you do? Would you demand answers? Or let the secrets remain? Comment below with your thoughts. Meanwhile, the tension continues on stage. The middle generation siblings start debating heatedly about what should happen with the fortune. Old grudges surface, disagreements over past events, moments of favoritism, and accusations of hidden agendas. Dr. Phil listens carefully, occasionally asking clarifying questions to ensure each side is heard. The youngest siblings remain quiet for a moment, absorbing the arguments. Then, one finally speaks. We can't just fight about the money. It's about trust. If we can't repair that, everything else doesn't matter. Dr. Phil nods approvingly. Exactly. This is the turning point. The conflict isn't just about money anymore. It's about relationships, trust, and respect. And confronting it honestly is the first step toward healing. As part 3 closes, the cameras capture the full emotional weight. A family divided for decades, finally sitting together, voices raised, hearts raw, and the audience, both in studio and at home, hanging on every word. The tension is palpable, yet there's a sense of hope. The first real breakthrough has begun, and viewers are left wondering, can this family truly reconcile after so many years of secrecy? What would you do if you were in this family's shoes? Comment below with your decision. Would you demand the truth or try to forgive and move on? The studio lights seem warmer now, as if reflecting the subtle shift in the family's atmosphere. The tension is still there, but a fragile sense of understanding begins to emerge. Dr. Phil leans forward in his chair, his voice calm but firm. We've talked about the past, the arguments, and the misunderstandings. But now I want to ask each of you, what has this fortune really cost you emotionally? The grandfather is the first to speak, his voice soft. I realize now that by keeping this secret, I've created distance between my children and grandchildren. I thought I was protecting the family, but all I did was plant seeds of suspicion and hurt. I see that now, and it's painful. The mother wipes a tear from her cheek. I've been angry for years, but what hurts more is knowing that this anger has affected my children. We've been so focused on the money and the disputes that we forgot the importance of our relationships. And seeing Grandpa admit his mistake, it changes everything. The father nods slowly. I think this is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's not about the fortune itself anymore. It's about trust, understanding, and forgiveness. I've held on to resentment for too long, and I realize now that it's been a barrier between us. Dr. Phil listens intently, letting the words sink in, then turns his attention to the youngest siblings. You've watched generations before you struggle with the same issues, he says. How has this affected your perception of family and trust? One of the youngest siblings speaks first, voice trembling. I feel like we've been outsiders in our own family. We trusted what we were told, we followed the rules, but the secrets left us unprepared for the reality. It's been confusing, frustrating, but seeing the adults finally speak honestly gives me hope that we can heal. The other sibling adds, and I've realized that holding on to anger doesn't solve anything. We need to listen, understand, and forgive. It's not easy, but it's the only way forward. The audience leans forward in their seats, silent, captivated by the raw honesty on stage. Dr. Phil nods approvingly. This is a pivotal moment. True healing doesn't come from money. It comes from openness, courage, and the willingness to acknowledge mistakes. As the family continues to speak, they begin to recall specific moments where misunderstanding caused pain, missed birthdays, unspoken expectations, and subtle favoritism that went unnoticed. Each recollection brings tears, laughter, and sometimes quiet chuckles as they recognize the human side of their long-standing conflicts. Dr. Phil gently reminds them, the fortune may have been hidden, but the real wealth lies in your relationships. Every apology, every admission of misunderstanding is a step toward reclaiming that wealth. By the end of part 4, there's a noticeable change in energy. The grandparents and parents share a look of mutual understanding. The siblings sit a little taller, less guarded, beginning to recognize the importance of family over financial disputes. The audience, sensing the emotional breakthrough, applauds quietly, some even wiping tears from their eyes. This is the turning point, the first genuine moments of reconciliation. For the viewers at home, it's a powerful reminder that conflicts, no matter how long-standing or complicated, can be addressed when honesty, vulnerability, and willingness to listen are present. Have you ever experienced a moment when your family finally admitted their mistakes? Share your story in the comments and tell us where you're watching from. The studio feels lighter now. The initial tension that filled the room has softened into a sense of cautious hope. Dr. Phil leans forward, his gaze calm and attentive. We've uncovered the past, we've shared emotions, and we've admitted mistakes, he begins. Now comes the crucial part. How do you move forward? How do you resolve this dispute in a way that restores trust and strengthens your family bond? The grandfather takes a deep breath, his shoulders relaxing slightly. I've realized that my secrecy, though well-intended, has caused more harm than good. I want to make amends, but I don't know where to start. Dr. Phil nods. The first step is acknowledgement. You've admitted the mistakes, and now it's about taking concrete steps to repair the damage. Let's break it down together. He turns to the parents. One strategy is to have open, structured communication. No interruptions, no assumptions, just listening. Each person should have the opportunity to express their feelings, their experiences, and how the secrecy has affected them. The mother speaks up, her voice steady. I think that's something we've never done properly. We've had conversations, yes, but they were filled with accusations and defensiveness. Structured communication might give everyone a chance to truly hear each other. The father nods. And we need clear boundaries. Everyone should understand what is being shared and why, and how decisions about the fortune will be made going forward. Transparency is key. Dr. Phil smiles. Exactly. Transparency and fairness go hand in hand. It's not just about revealing the fortune. It's about ensuring that everyone feels respected and included in decisions. You're not just resolving a financial dispute. You're rebuilding trust. He then addresses the siblings. And for the youngest generation, your role is to listen, ask questions when necessary, and be part of the solution without fueling old conflicts. Forgiveness is a choice, but it's also an action. Are you ready to take those steps? The siblings nod. Yes, one of them says firmly. We want to be part of the solution. We want to rebuild what was broken, not just fight over money. Dr. Phil then introduces a practical method, a family agreement or plan. Write down what each person expects, what each person needs, and how decisions will be made moving forward. This plan becomes your roadmap, a clear guide to prevent future conflicts. The grandfather leans back, looking relieved. Having a plan makes this feel less overwhelming. It turns abstract feelings and misunderstandings into something tangible we can act on. The mother adds, and it gives us a sense of fairness. Everyone knows the rules, and there's less room for assumptions or resentment. Dr. Phil nods approvingly. Exactly. By setting clear expectations, maintaining open communication, and showing respect, you are laying the foundation for lasting reconciliation. The fortune may be hidden no longer, but the real wealth comes from the relationships you are rebuilding today. He turns to the camera, addressing the viewers. And for those watching at home, think about your own family. Are there unresolved disputes or secrets? What practical steps can you take to foster open communication and rebuild trust? The audience watches closely as the family begins drafting their first family agreement with Dr. Phil's guidance. Pens move across paper, nods are exchanged, and for the first time in decades, there is a shared understanding. Small smiles appear, tentative but genuine, and the energy in the studio shifts from tension to optimism. By the end of Part 5, the family has taken actionable steps toward reconciliation. They have created a plan, acknowledged mistakes, and begun rebuilding trust. The audience senses that while the journey isn't over, a significant breakthrough has occurred. This part of the story is a reminder that resolution isn't about erasing the past. It's about learning from it and moving forward together. If you've ever had to resolve a family dispute, what strategies worked for you? Comment below and share your experience. The studio is quiet now, but the atmosphere is electric with anticipation. After hours of confession, reflection, and guided conversation, the family sits closer together than they have in decades. Dr. Phil looks at them with his signature calm authority. You've all shared your truths, admitted your mistakes, and started taking steps toward resolution. Now, it's time to see what reconciliation looks like in action. The grandfather clears his throat, his voice steady but emotional. I want to apologize to all of you for the secrets, the misunderstandings, and the distance my decisions caused. I thought I was protecting you, but I realize now I was only hurting you. I hope you can forgive me." Tears well up in the mother's eyes as she reaches for her father's hand. "I forgive you," she says softly. "And I want us all to move forward as a family, not as individuals fighting over a hidden fortune." The father adds, "I've held grudges for too long. I was focused on what I thought I was entitled to, rather than appreciating the family I have. I want to rebuild that trust." The youngest siblings, visibly moved, nod in agreement. "We've been hurt too," one says. "But we want to be part of this healing process. We want to stand together, not apart." Dr. Phil smiles, leaning slightly forward. "This is the moment reconciliation begins, not just as words, but as actions. You're demonstrating vulnerability, empathy, and respect. These are the foundations for lasting family relationships." A hush falls over the audience as the family embraces for the first time during the show. The camera captures the raw emotion: hugs, tears, smiles, and even tentative laughter. It's a moment that has been decades in the making, a true emotional climax. Dr. Phil continues, addressing the audience and viewers at home. When a family faces conflict, it's not just about the money or the secret. It's about the emotions, trust, and respect that bind them together. Today, this family has chosen to acknowledge those bonds and work on them actively. As the family pulls back slightly, the grandfather speaks again. "We've also decided to create a family agreement. It outlines how we'll communicate, share responsibilities, and handle any disputes in the future. This way, we ensure that the mistakes of the past don't define the generations to come." The mother adds, "It feels like a weight has been lifted. We can finally appreciate each other without the shadow of secrets looming over us." Dr. Phil nods approvingly. And that's the key takeaway. Forgiveness and reconciliation are actions, not just feelings. By committing to honesty, empathy, and clear communication, this family is reclaiming the wealth that really matters, the wealth of love and connection. He turns to the camera once more, speaking directly to viewers. And for you at home, have you ever witnessed someone in your family or community stand up to long-standing issues and reconcile? Share your story in the comments. Your experiences can inspire others to do the same. The audience begins to applaud, some standing, recognizing the bravery and vulnerability displayed on stage. The family smiles, holding hands, a visible symbol of unity and hope. The cameras pan over the crowd, capturing the emotional resonance of the moment, proof that even the deepest rifts can be healed with courage and guidance. By the end of Part 6, the family has not only reconciled but also created a clear plan for their future interactions. The fortune is no longer the central issue. The relationships and mutual understanding have become the true legacy. The studio feels lighter, warmer, and filled with hope, leaving viewers inspired and deeply moved. Have you ever witnessed someone stand up to long-standing issues and bring your family closer together? Share your story in the comments below and tell us where you're watching from. The studio lights dim slightly, and the cameras sweep across the family, now sitting together with calm smiles and visible relief. The tense emotions that had dominated the stage for so long have given way to understanding, forgiveness, and hope. Dr. Phil leans forward, his voice warm yet commanding. "Today, we witnessed something extraordinary. This family faced decades of secrecy, misunderstandings, and conflict, and they chose reconciliation. That is the true fortune." As the family shares their closing thoughts, the grandfather speaks first. "I realize now that the wealth I thought I was protecting pales in comparison to the love and trust of my family. I am grateful for this opportunity to make things right." The parents nod, tears in their eyes. "We've learned that communication and transparency are far more valuable than any inheritance," the mother says softly. "And we're committed to keeping these lessons alive in our daily lives." The youngest siblings smile, feeling included, respected, and connected. "For the first time, I feel like we're truly a family," one says. "We've faced the truth together, and it has made us stronger." Dr. Phil addresses the viewers at home. The story doesn't end here. The courage, honesty, and empathy shown on this stage can inspire millions. What this family has done is a blueprint for resolving conflicts and rebuilding trust, no matter how long-standing the issues may be. As the cameras pan across the studio audience, their reactions are overwhelming. Applause, cheers, and emotional nods fill the room. Many have been moved to tears by the raw honesty and bravery displayed. Clips from the show immediately begin circulating online, and social media lights up with hashtags like #FamilyReconciliation, #HiddenFortune, #DrPhil, and #TrustAndLove. Millions of viewers are engaging with the story, sharing their own experiences, and commenting on the importance of forgiveness and transparency. Dr. Phil emphasizes the lesson one final time. Remember, it's not the fortune that matters most. It's the relationships we nurture, the respect we show, and the trust we build. Secrets may protect for a time, but honesty heals for a lifetime. The family rises together, holding hands and waving to the audience. Their smiles are genuine, their bond strengthened, and the cameras capture every moment of unity. The grandfather embraces the youngest sibling, the parents join in, the siblings hug each other tightly. This moment of reconciliation, captured for millions to see, is a reminder that even the deepest divides can be healed when people are willing to listen, understand, and forgive. Finally, Dr. Phil turns to the camera, addressing viewers directly. If you believe honesty, empathy, and communication are the true foundations of family, type unity in the comments. Share your stories of reconciliation, and remember, the greatest fortune you can have is the love and trust of those closest to you. Subscribe for more inspiring stories like this one, and let these lessons guide your own family toward healing. The studio lights brighten as applause swells, the family smiles warmly, and the story concludes. A powerful reminder that reconciliation, transparency, and love are timeless lessons that resonate far beyond the walls of the stage.